Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's vid, I will be showcasing the new magical superpowers update, which consists of 5 new powers and skins and a new map. So let's get started. We'll be starting off with ice, which costs 100,000 coins. And also the flight system is here, which is very cool. First ability is Shield, which is a bunch of ice spikes. The shield has a good amount of health and is pretty durable. Also, sorry for no sound, but it's to avoid copyright. Next ability is Ice Beams, which will create a zone of ice that will slow down players you aim it at. Does good damage. Next is Ice Barrage, which will throw a ton of ice bombs wherever you aim, and they do a lot of damage. Next is Ice Shard, which will summon a huge ice particle that will turn into a massive ice spike, doing good damage. Next ability is Ice Stream, which will summon a giant series of spikes that will stun anyone in the radius. Bad damage, but good stun. Next is Frozen Whirlwind, which just spins players in an icy wind that does good damage. It also freezes players at the end. Next is Ice Trap, which will freeze a player and put them in ice spikes, dealing constant damage. Last ability is Ice Age. Charge up all your energy into a giant ball that will explode and release a massive wave of ice spikes that will freeze and heavily damage players. Also, Y'all Ice is 1 slot. Now moving on to Soul Hunter, which costs 1500 coins and is 1 slot as well. First is Shield, which has good defense and you can walk around with it. Next ability is Dark Matter Explosions, which will just create big explosions of dark energy around you. Next is Mass Absorb, which will absorb the life force of any players in a massive radius. The range is crazy on this ability and it will restore health. Next ability is Dark Matter Cast, which will continuously damage players for a while. Next is Passive Soul Absorb, which will slowly absorb someone's soul and restore health for long periods of time while the person is getting their health drained, and shields cannot protect you against this curse. Next is Dark Matter Barrage, which will release a couple of dark energy bombs. Next is Basic Teleportation. Last ability is Soul Scream, which will release a massive screech or roar that will create a huge vortex that will damage nearby players massively. Moving on to Vampire, which costs 125,000 coins and is 2 slots. First ability is Shield, which is an auto shield, meaning you can use your other abilities while having it on. And its defense is not so great, but it's an auto shield, so it can't be too strong. Next ability is Demonic Beam, which will create a beam with a massive singularity that does good damage. Next ability will slash a giant black hole in any direction you aim it at, and it does low damage. Next is demonic winds, which creates a vast whirlwind that will lift players up and swing them around like the ice whirlwind, but it's weaker and has a lower cooldown. Next is dark flow, which will create a huge wave of dark energy that will push back players. Next ability is Cursed Choke, which will choke a player. You click on in a pentagram using your magic. Next is Heal, which is just basic healing, and you can spam it since it has a 1-second cooldown. Last ability is Singularity's final, create a massive ritual, followed by 4 black hole orbs that can be dropped to those below you, with each orb doing massive damage. Now moving on to Christmas Spirit, which is obtained by claiming a gift that will randomly spawn throughout the map and is 1 slot. First is Present Shield, which has good defense and looks really cool. Next is Candy Cane Lift, which will create a zone of candy canes that will rise up and attack players, doing good damage. Next is Festive Barrage, which will release festive bombs, each doing good damage. Next is Festive Grab, which will create a strong pull that will pick up any players nearby and fling them around. The attack can be moved around with players inside. Next is Festive Whirlwind, which is like all the other whirlwinds, self-explanatory. Next attack is Peppermint Trap, which will trap players into candy canes, leaving them vulnerable to any other abilities. Next is Festive Travel, which will teleport you wherever you click. Last ability is Ethereal Luminosity. Charge up all your star power to create a giant, bright circle of energy that will constantly deal high damage to those inside. Last power or skin on here is Jack Frost, who is a skin for Ice Queen and is obtainable by claiming the secret code found throughout the map. Can't leak the code here since I will get banned, and he shares 1 slot with Ice Queen. First is Shield, which is pretty weak. Next is Ice Barrage, which is similar to Ice's ability, creates a ton of ice spikes and they do good damage. Next ability is Icy Breeze, which is a simple breeze of cold wind. Next is the same as Ice's ability, don't have to explain it. Next ability is the same as Ice Queen's Frozen Zone, but it has a bigger range. Next is Snowflake Barrage. Next attack is Snowy Aura, which will release cold energy that repulses in all directions, doing bad damage but stuns. Last ability is the same as Ice's Ice Age, so I don't have to explain. Overall, love the new update. It's amazing and very creative. Some of the new codes include Winter Update, Sorry Fortally, and Flight. Anyways, everyone, that will be it for today's vid. Please make sure to like and sub to the channel. Bye everyone.